I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hi, y'all. It's Amir Yasai, your number one yachty. And yes, I am the captain of the ship today. This hat finally came in the mail, and I could not be more happy. Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 13 of our after show. Nate, how are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm feeling great, living great, loving the quarantine life, but I'm starting to get a little bit bored. But life's good.
I get it. Okay, good.
And I'm still entertained by my below the deck shipmates.
Awesome. Your skin's never looked better. You look radiant and happy. And we're going to jump right in. We have so much to talk about. Right off the top, obviously, we have Jenna and Adam, and she wants flowers so desperately. And Adam goes and spends the whole day getting her these ugly flowers. And she really doesn't take well to them, and they have a huge blowout at the end. So we're going to talk about that blow up. And then we obviously have the new, the guest, Lyndie Kennedy, and her boyfriend. She's flirting with Adam. Then he proposes, and she pretty much rejects him in front of this moment of Paget and Georgia singing to them. And then we obviously have to get to Georgia and Paget as well. They're growing close. They're performing together. They're practicing for this number. And Madison is feeling like she's lost her kind of best friend because her and Georgia were kind of like a couple. So she's kind of feeling left out, and Madison has a little bit of a blowout and kind of goes home. We see a little more of Chris and his odd sense of humor, which is nice. And then we have a special segment that Nate's going to do with some kitchen nightmares. And we're also going to do some news, predictions, and obviously discuss the promo. But before we get to all of that, Nate, what were your overall thoughts for this episode?
Again, I'm literally speechless. Like, I was so excited the whole entire episode. Like the first half of the episode was very, very exciting. And then like the second half kind of slowed down a little bit, and I kind of started like, oh, I'm over it. I'm starting thinking about like what I really wanted to talk about. And then this Adam and Jenna situation just blew up, and I'm like, wow. But all in all, great episode. The proposal, I don't know what this guy is thinking. He's completely like, the timing was terrible, but at the same time, that's just why I don't like chasing these women.
Nope. Nate, don't be chasing them. Nate, don't be chasing them. That's good. I like that.
It's a waste of time. But
well, now that go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Well, just finish your thoughts. Totally fine.
Yeah, but then Madison, I might be going against Madison a little bit this episode, but I also think that they kind of blew her situation out the way. I got to protect my girl, so yes. I got to let that known this episode.
Yes.
I'm here for you.
Me and you are definitely Madison stans. We're definitely here for her. We appreciate her antics, and I think we understand. It's never good to be, what is she, the seventh wheel? I don't know, how many people are there? How many couples are there? She'd be the seventh wheel. That's not fun.
Seventh wheel. Well, seventh wheel, then Byron.
Yeah, then Byron. But Byron's like booed up and has a child. He's like irrelevant. Now that you brought it up, Nate, let's talk about Jenna and Adam. So obviously, like, they, the whole flower gate, and then, I think that in his head, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam thinks that he's making these grand gestures, but they're just like, you plucked a couple flowers. Like, I don't really know what he thinks he's doing. So what are your thoughts? I know you have a lot.
I am an Adam fan now.
Okay. Oh.
I literally have switched everything. I have to just say I'm an Adam fan because I feel like I just understand the man. Because I feel like I see so much of me in him.
Okay.
Adam is trying. And again, when he's in his own head, like he's like, and not saying he's like crazy in his own head, but like in his own mind, he doesn't ever do these type of things for a woman. So when he gets to this point and he does something like this, where he gets off a boat and he gives flowers, which I'm so proud of him for doing. Good job, Adam, because he's showing effort. Like, that's what women typically want, effort. That's what he did, and then he actually went and go pick them. He didn't just go pay someone to go pick them for him. Like, that was a good present. But see, the issue is he can't expect her to react a certain way. And I understand why he did. He wanted her to really see her cry. He expected that as a reaction because that's maybe how he would have reacted if she would have did something like that for him. But she just may react differently to things. It doesn't mean that she didn't appreciate it the same way. It's just, that's the way that she expresses her emotions in a different way. But I can understand why he felt so irritated by that. And then after not acknowledging it, that's what probably ended up leading to him bursting out like that. at the end of the episode. So
Right.
I understand him a little bit.
Okay, so let me correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understood it is you're saying that as long as he's trying, it's fine. But do you think that having that expectation of her crying is putting a lot of pressure on the situation? Like, what if she's just like, she was kind of like, oh, cool, like I love them. And then she kind of went to her phone. Do you think she kind of blew him off a little bit?
I think she did blow him off a little bit, but no, I think she for sure blew him off a little bit. Jenna for sure did not accept that properly. No, I want to make that clear. Jenna for sure did not accept that properly. But again, we know that Jenna isn't this like expressive person. Like she is kind of, I don't want to say bitchy, but she is like that's kind of her, you know? And so she blew him off because she told him the fact that, oh, I would probably cry if you got me flowers. And she like challenged him. That's more what I'm mad about. Like she kind of like challenged him. And I kind of felt bad that she like, if she never had gotten flowers or anything, and then she gets them and there's no response. So no, she clearly blew him off. But I'm just saying it is a lot of pressure to put that expectation on her because she might have just came off of, I don't know, you don't know her mood at that time. And when I don't know.
Right. No, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I think you're working on these shifts. Like I spoke to Chris on IG Live, so I'll talk about that more in the news. But he also mentioned a lot of times you're working long hours. Your emotions are up. You're missing your friends and family, and sometimes you're very raw. And then the cameras are in your face, like you know, wanting you to have a reaction. So I think it does in some ways like can get to you. But I think that Jenna just generally is kind of like, I'm not gonna say bitchy, but callous. She's a bit like whatever, and that's what Adam liked about her. Like she's not the type of girl that's gonna cry if you give her flowers. Like she's not that girl. So even if she said that, like he should know better. But I also think a lot of times, I mean, again, I don't know, but like I feel like when women ask for something and you get them that right away, they're like, well, I had to tell you. Like they don't want to have to tell you, right? Like you have to just kind of know she wants flowers. So I think that's another thing too. And it's like he got her like carnations and baby's breath. I'm like, bro.
But
like,
again, this is just my thing, and this is why I say I understand him. Back to the Parker situation. I'm about effort and intent. And so like I understand like when a girl tells me, because again, like back in the day, again, when I used to, this is why I say I understand him. Like I understand not knowing to go get a girl flowers. I love giving flowers. So this is not talking about me, but like maybe something in a relationship that I'm not doing, and I just didn't know. It wasn't like I was neglecting her. It's just like I didn't know that you liked that, and when you bring it up, now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that all the time. Like just because I want to please you, and so I just understand that Adam saw that. Oh, I just want to make you happy. This is, you said you want that, go get it, and then you didn't show me that love back. So it's like, at least say thank you, or, and I'm not saying she didn't say thank you, but you know, it was a clear
she kind of didn't though. Like if you think about it, Nate, like she kind of didn't say thank you. She was just like, she was like, oh, okay, thanks. Like she didn't care really. Like she was kind of like, it's like almost like if you gave me a sandwich, if I had ordered it, and you're like, oh, here's your sandwich, and I'm like, okay, thanks, Nate. Like it was like very just like A to B, and it wasn't like, oh my God. And a lot of times like us guys need our ego stroked. Like we need like, oh my God, you're amazing. You went and got me these flowers. Like we want to be built up. And a lot of times women are like, I don't want to do that. And it's like, well, then he's going to get frustrated. And like, again, I'm not excusing what he said to her at the end, but again, that's very Adam. Like Jenna is being Jenna, Adam's being Adam, you know?
Definitely. And that's why I'm saying like, I've been in situations where I expected reactions and they weren't as dismissive as Jenna was. But again, I just expected the reaction. Like I expected you to cry about what I just did and bought you. But that didn't happen. And I just had to learn to realize that everyone reacts to things differently. Some people get awkward in those situations. And it's like, they're really extremely happy, but they're just awkward. So I just want to put that out there. But no, I for sure understand Adam and why he felt that way. I've been there, buddy.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy because like I've been there as well, where you do something big romantic for someone and they don't take it the way you want, and it can feel very frustrating. But again, I think their fight is beyond flowers. I think their fight is because he said something really important. He said, "How can you be in love with me? It's only been 3 weeks." Like he's kind of not where she is. Like he's like, pump the brakes.
No, you completely. I'm still kind of on the first part. I'm not ready to the little crazy last part yet. I'm still trying to talk about the first part. The last part, that's kind of like, that's way deeper. That's way deeper.
Way deeper. That is not just flowers. That is not. So let's talk about that real quick before we get to our next topic, because
Okay.
we have to give that some attention. So I was like reading everything they were saying, and he was like, talk lower. He knew they're mic'd. He was like, he did not want this to be out there because he is trying to rebrand his image as this like F boy. He doesn't want to come off like that. But the fact is, he's like kind of trying to control her reaction. And he is so quick to be like, I'm going to drive off in my van and I'm going to ignore you and F you. So did you think that approach, like that escalation was like, where did that come from?
This is why I wanted to separate them. Adam completely in the wrong in this second situation. And again, I'm all about expressing yourself. I'm all about communication, speaking about it, but it's always a way to do things. And when you start talking about effing and cussing, and honestly, I don't know who even used the first curse word, but whenever that vulgar start talk, and I understand, like we've been in situations where things are just heated and they just had sex. Emotions are being tossed. Like I understand those things, but when the curse words start coming out, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we can't even get to like what's really happening and what's going on. And so so that's kind of just all I have to say. I don't have really much to say about that. But you can't talk.
It was an effed up situation. You can't be talking to someone that you are like, again, that you see as your person. And when she was talking about dating the guy that her and Georgia dated, like they both dated that guy, he got so jealous. And then he's like, oh, you can't be in love with me. And I'm like, just because you're not saying it doesn't mean maybe you are not in love with her as well. Like, I think that Adam, he would be very disappointed if this didn't work out. So I think it's like, you know, sometimes us guys have trouble like processing our emotions. So I feel like in that moment, like you said, like right after sex, like I can't have a conversation. Like, so Jenna like is trying to have the deep conversation right out. Like literally it was like, oh, that feels so good. And then it's like, what the fuck? Like right after that. So it's like a little, you got to give that some time for the guy to find his way again, you know? So I feel like Adam's got to get like a little bit of a refractory period to be able to kind of process this information. So I think Jenna is so scared to have another failed relationship that she's putting all of her eggs in this basket. And I worry that this basket has a lot of holes, Nate. So I don't know if it's going to really last the test of time. So.
No, I agree. And I'm kind of like Jenna. So I like to make jokes like that too. So I understand her, but I understand the awkwardness when it's like more of a serious situation, because Adam is like on the edge, like, am I really gonna start getting serious with this woman? Am I not? But he probably feels set up. Like I literally feel set up like every time this happens. And so I understand the emotion that came out of him. And then of course, probably, you know, from the flowers earlier, he still was frustrated, and it just all came out, and it came out in an emotional, you know, situation. So again, I understand him, but when we can't cuss each other out, let's just remove ourselves from the situation, come back.
It's not a good idea.
You're never gonna say the things you want to say. You can't
absolutely
take them back.
Yeah, it's a hard situation to do that, to kind of put yourself in that situation where you're then cussing at her, and then her guard is up, and they're both very alpha. Like there's no one that's kind of like a beta. They're both alpha, so they're like going head to head. So I think that is what gets them in trouble. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it seems like in the promo they kind of make up, which we'll talk about. And Adam is a bit more raw and open and vulnerable. So hopefully that will be like their saving grace. Before we move on to our next topic, I want to just thank everyone for being here with AfterBuzz TV during quarantine, the AfterBuzz of TV Talk, the ESPN of TV Talk, I'm sorry. And we just want you to go like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and please go give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We need those 5 stars. And we're also in the live chat. If you want to comment, I will shout you out as soon as I can. So let's go on to our next topic. So uncomfortable as ever. This new, the new guest, Lyndie Kennedy. She's going to be in the new segment as well. So much weird dynamics between her and Adam. She wanted to go into the galley, and then her boyfriend and her are not on the same page. He sets up this beautiful beach picnic, and you know, he even gets Georgia and Paget to sing and perform, and it's so romantic, except she does not want to be engaged to him. So Nate, what were your thoughts about this cringiest episode I've ever seen of Below Deck?
I just don't understand when it comes to proposing, like I feel like isn't proposing kind of like a planned thing? Like you talk to your girlfriend or significant other at the time, and you guys know that you guys are about to get married. Like you guys have talked about this, right? Like you should understand this. So when I feel like that conversation hasn't been had by them. Clearly, she's still partying. She's still in her Instagram and social media and wants to be in the life and in the street
She
space.
does.
It's clear. Like, do we not see the signs? And this is why, like, I always tell people I don't mind chasing women. I don't mind chasing you, but I'm not about to compete with like a million different people. So like if you like Adam and you think Adam is cute, go. So I'm just kind of confused, like why this man, maybe she has money, I don't know, fame, whatever. But I just don't understand him. But so at first I was like, this girl is just like a weirdo and she's don't want to say any derogatory terms, but I'm on her side. This guy's weird.
Does it rhyme with Timbo? Is that what you're? Yeah, I was gonna say it rhymes with Timbo. A lot of these girls are like, especially the two kind of influencer girls they're just kind of like shamelessly running around the boat, flirting with Adam, and she's kind of doing it a lot of times in front of her boyfriend. So I think it's like it's this way of trying to get attention, and I'll definitely get into it more in the news because I have some, she actually posted on Instagram talking about their inner works in their relationship. So we'll definitely get to that. But I think that overall with that relationship, I think it's another guest understanding how TV works, trying to make good TV. They know they're influencers. They know this storyline is going to get all the views. So I don't know if it's really authentic, but I think that they knew that this would be good TV. And it was. Like, it was the most entertaining part of the whole episode. So mission accomplished, I guess.
So do you think that they planned the Adam part?
Yeah, I think all of it was like very strategic. Because a lot of guests do this. Like even the guys that were on this season, that they picked up Madison, like they might be drunk, but people still know, like, there's cameras, there's social media. They know this is going to be posted and talked about. So, like, imagine the guests that have been really nice. We kind of forgot about them. Like you remember the people that like brought the baby. They're the ones asking for the shrimp cocktail. They're the one with the botched proposal. You're going to remember that, So it's good TV. But I think that like this relationship, like, well, I don't know if it's a match made in heaven, but we'll just have to wait and see. People that like, especially online, people were dying for Georgia and Paget from the beginning, but now they're definitely rooting for them. They're like, oh my God, they have chemistry. They're making music. They're in the cabin together. And then Paget and Ciara are like fighting as well. So it's like, now you're really rooting for Georgia and Paget. And then, when they were performing, Ciara rolled her eyes. So what are your thoughts about all of this? Like, I don't think Georgia's okay with this. This is a lot.
Well, I mean, we already talked to them, so we kind of already know that they're good.
Right.
But I mean, I just thought it was interesting that Georgia, like, she's actually admitting on TV that she actually has feelings for this guy, or like she can like have these feelings for this guy. So I kind of don't understand that dynamic. Like, she's really admitting to it. But I just understood how she feels. Like when you have someone that has something that you love and you have that passion for. Like, I have things that I love that some people they don't care for, but when I meet someone that has that, I'm like, oh, like, what's up? I'm like, I'm just more inclined to just be interested in that person. So just someone that you're close to, and then you find out something that brings you guys that much closer. I understand how you can fall more. Like, I'm not mad at her, but I'm just surprised she's admitting it. Go, girl.
Right. I mean, at least she's being open and like is not being phony, which I think is good. And she's always been very open about that. Like with Ciara and Paget, like they were like, yeah, we talked about the threesome thing. It was more about having a drink together. And George has been very open about all of her attractions. Like, she's not hiding it. And a lot of times I think it's shady when people hide it. They're like, oh no, I don't think Paget's cute. And then it's like, you're clearly flirting with him. So be authentic. And like, that's kind of what Ciara was doing until this episode. Like, she's finally annoyed. Like, she wasn't annoyed before. She was like, I don't care. I don't mind. And it's like, no, you obviously do. Like, you're rolling your eyes.
Yeah.
Like, you obviously are. Everyone can see their chemistry, and it's like pretty electric. So it's like, I'm happy that she's finally acknowledging that, which I think is great. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, first it's like, admit that he's cute and all, but she's like, I have feelings for this guy. Like, if it wasn't for Ciara, like, I wouldn't want to be with him. So that's why I'm surprised. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Ciara told her she's not tripping, but I don't know. I would be tripping. I'd be like, whoa.
I would be mad tripping. That's like, I would not be feeling that. I would definitely either have a conversation, and surprised that she hasn't even had a conversation with Paget to be like, can you stop flirting with her in front of me at least? Or like, there's been no communication. So I don't know. And again, that's a big problem with their relationship. It's a lack of communication, and they're always bickering. And I thought it was gone, and then it came back this episode. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But before we move on, I just wanted to read a couple comments from last week's episode. So Missy Masood said, "Thank you for keeping us up on all the gossip and entertaining us through this hard time. We love you guys and taking the time to do all of this." And then the Bearded Man Travels, which is actually Chris, the new deckhand. It's his handle. He has a bit of an odd sense of humor. He's wearing that Hawaiian shirt, but we still love Chris. He said, "Hi guys, it's Deckhand Chris. Thanks for the positive message. I enjoy your podcast. Looking forward to the next. You guys have some great, good points." Thank you, Chris. We really appreciate that. And hopefully we can get Chris on the show as well. Yes, that would be awesome. And then Michael.
Accent.
Yes, I know we need, because that's how we would slay. If we had a British accent, your hot factor goes up at least 3 points. So I definitely need an accent.
Imagine a black with that accent.
Ooh. Oh, you'd be slaying. Yes. That's awesome. Michael Ricciardi is saying, "I just wonder if Jenna would have been nicer and cooler of a character if she wasn't so into Adam and then becoming a couple." So it seems like Jenna's kind of getting lost in the whole couple realm. That's a really hot take. I like that. And then Anna T is giving us a nice crossover comment about Bravo. She's saying Byron is the Bali of Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Bali, if you don't know, is from Family Karma, which is also on Bravo. And she's kind of like the auntie. She's like kind of the voice of reason. So Byron is the voice of reason. But we also talked about how he also is the instigator. So you have to watch for our boy Byron, because he will kind of come for you. And then Jean Wellsome in the live chat is saying, "I would not be happy at all if I was Jenna." Yeah, you know what? We feel you, and we get both sides of it. I just don't know if they're the most healthy of couples. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. Nate, do you got some news for us?
Yes. So
AfterBuzz TV
just for the kitchen nightmares, there was one time that Adam had a guest that was like adamant about no onions. Like when he sent in the guest request, he was like, "No onions. I'm serious. Don't put any onion gate." And so Adam kept sending out plates with onions, and he would send them back. And then Adam would make new food, but he would still make it with onions, and then he would keep sending it back. So eventually got really, really heated with like Adam Hannah, and then but his excuse was that chef knows best. So back in the day, Adam was still acting like he's still acting now, everybody.
And he's going to get worse. In the promo, we saw that. So it only gets worse. It only gets worse from there. Thank you for that special segment. We'll keep trying to bring you these kitchen nightmare stories because it is kind of fun. And when I spoke to Chris on IG Live, he said the chef is the most important part of the boat. And so he said that was the first person he got along with. He made sure to clean his toilet. He said no skid marks, and he would never wake up Adam, and always made his bed. So Chris said that he was definitely Team Adam, and understood why he would be frustrated with all of that. So yeah, let's move on to some news. Thank you, Nate, for the segment. It was wonderful. I got some news for you guys. So first off, I want to talk about a little more about what Chris said on IG Live. He teased that him and Georgia are going to kind of share a couple moments. He couldn't tell me more than that. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm talking to Georgia tomorrow, so I'll see if I can try to squeeze out a little more info from her. But yeah, Chris gave me some good tidbits. He also told me he crossed the Atlantic with Stephen Colbert. He was a deckhand on a boat with Stephen Colbert, and he said that they would spend hours drinking and hanging out and getting to know each other. So pretty cool that Chris is friends with Stephen Colbert. Kind of an awesome a little tidbit. Yeah. And he also mentioned that he's almost died out at sea. So he said bad captains can really be really scary, and that he really respects Captain Glenn because he runs a very nice ship and it's very safe. So I was like, wow, that's cool. Like really good insider information. And he also said, because I know the tip was a little low tonight, it was $1,700, right, Nate? $1,700? I think that's how much it was. So he said that the most tip that Chris had ever gotten was $2,800. Can you imagine for 2 days work, you get $3,000? That's awesome. really. I mean, we're in the wrong business. That's awesome.
Yeah, what?
I know, right? And then I can't help but spill some tea on Lyndie Kennedy, which was our charter guest with the very cringy botched proposal. She put this on her Instagram story. She said, "Luckily, I got out of that relationship. It wasn't staged, but after breaking up for 2 months, I gave him one more chance and we did this show." So they broke up for 2 months and then they were like, "Let's get back together on national TV." Like, I don't understand that. And then they said, "But we weren't back together and I have very good reason to be upset with him and completely done with him by the time we landed in Greece. I wanted to go home, but he convinced me to act differently, the camera's role, and he's again controlling and possessive and manipulative, trying to portray something on camera that wasn't true. I am not fake. I cannot pretend to be in love when I'm not, and I'm frustrated with this person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. My friends and family and myself know that real situation, and that's all that matters." But wait for it, Nate. All of that aside, right? She said all of that. Then they posted a fake proposal right when the episode aired of him proposing to her. So they're back together now. And it's a very weird thing on her Instagram of him proposing to her and her saying yes, but they are not proposed. They are not engaged, but they are together. It's such a weird story. I'm like, girl, you took this 15 minutes of fame and extended it out as far as possible.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
This is all true. This is all true. Yep.
Okay. Oh my. So it explains so much, but it's confusing so much. Because at first this whole time I was
It's
like,
so
okay,
confusing. So confusing.
Yeah, he's
So
crazy.
they
in the
broke
head,
up.
he's
Here, let me
tripping.
break it down for you, Nate. Make it easy. So they
No,
broke up.
I'm with you, but at first I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's really tripping. Because like, why would she want to marry you? You guys are just getting back together. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I was like, I'm with you. It was all publicity stunt. But then now that she's proposing, like that just threw me off. Like right now.
It's really crazy.
It all was a
I was
publicity
like,
stunt.
it's all
Oh well,
publicity
I ain't mad, you girl. Get your money. I'm still not gonna pay attention to you. Though.
Get your coin and get your Instagram followers from this weird, strange story. But you know what? If they're together and they're happy, we wish them all the best. And I wonder if they're quarantined together and hopefully maybe that'll bring them together. Who knows? If you want to read more about the story, go to distractify.com and just put below deck sailing yacht and it should be the first story that pops up. But that's the most interesting charter guest story we've had, other than Hannah hooking up with one of the guests. So that was some good tea that I spilled for y'all. And then Nate, let's transition to some predictions for the new season. What do we think is going to happen?
Your AfterBuzz
Are Jenna and
TV
Adam going to get together? Like, what do we think?
Jenna and Adam are done.
Oh, wow, that's a hot take. Right.
Oh yeah, that's out. Oh
that's
yeah,
that's okay.
I don't know when they're gonna be done, but that's down the flush. You know, some things you can't take back. Some of the things you say, you can't take them back.
Oh God,
you can't take them back.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so that's my hot take. Period.
Wow,
wait,
that's a good
I'm
one.
still, wait.
Yeah.
What happened to the cocaine? Or the drugs?
Oh, okay. So I asked Chris actually about the cocaine, and he said that it wasn't anyone that's on the boat. It was a charter guest, and he said that the normal protocol is to just like pretend you don't see it and don't acknowledge it. But he's like, unfortunately, like a lot of times charter guests, like they've even propositioned him for sex. And he's like, I can either take the money, like someone will offer you 20 grand to sleep with them, or you go to the captain and then you lose your tip because they have to kick off the charter guest. But he said that this amount of cocaine was too much to overlook. So I think this person brought on like a good amount of cocaine. So I think it's definitely a charter guest. So we'll have to, I don't know what's going to happen. He couldn't tell me really more than that.
Next week, it's not next week. So
I know, when is it going to come? That's what I told him. I was like, when is it going to come? He's like, you have to wait for it. I was like, damn it. We are not patient here at AfterBuzz. Like, we need to know. Yeah, we need to know now. So I think my prediction is that Madison's going to start flirting with a charter guest, or someone's going to, maybe an ex is going to visit her. Something's got to happen with her. She can't just be frustrated, overworked, tired. Like, we need that fun, bubbly Madison that's braless. Like, we need her back. We miss her. So I hope that she comes back.
And they were so dramatic. You were not even that dramatic. You just made a comment. I understand why you were sad. So leave my Madison alone.
Leave her alone.
But Madison,
I hate. Go ahead.
Be
Nate,
strong,
sorry.
Girl. Be strong.
Yes.
You don't
be
need
strong.
You don't need it to make you happy, girl. Be strong. I understand. Be strong.
Well, you made a good point, Nate, because it's like I hate when you're in like a moment and then everyone makes it a bigger story. Like they were like, "Oh, she's now upset and attacking." It's like, no, she was just like, she just wanted to leave. Like, if you're ready to leave and you're a little tipsy, like let the girl leave. Like that's what I'm like a little frustrated about the way the group's handling her. Like, let her leave. So I also think with Jenna and Adam, Jenna is very forgiving. So I think when Adam opens up and is vulnerable about leaving, we saw in the promo, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna get in my van and I'm gonna drive off. I think that she's going to take him back because I think she's a little bit, I don't want her to hate me, but a little bit weak when it comes to men. We saw her date, like her dating history. So I think she's going to let him back in. So I don't think
she for sure, she for sure is going to let him back in. But I just think in the long run, Adam is just like, I ain't for it. Again, I'm just speaking because I see myself in Adam. And what I'm going to eventually do, I just feel like that's what Adam eventually going to do. And I feel like Adam is going to be like, all right, I ain't got time for all this.
Like, it seems like you would just be like, done. Like, he would just
eventually, because again, he just is infatuated with the moment of the situation. Like, he truly liked her and he truly liked, but it's just the whole situation. But like, when it gets down to it and who she really is, I don't think that he's really going to like who she is. And I don't think that they're really perfect for each other.
Right.
They're toxic, but I don't know. I don't think they're perfect. So I think he's gonna start seeing that in those like little moments of like, I'm giving you flowers and you don't show that. Like when the true sweatpants stage comes up, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm over it.
Right. Which is what he wanted from the beginning, was this like, very elusive sweatpants phase. And I'm like, you guys are working and you're both like the managers in your certain department. And then it's like, do they now live in the master suite? I don't really understand. Like, they're just going to always go in there. I'm like, what is happening? Like,
I think the same thing.
I don't understand. Like, if I was chartering this boat, I would not want to have all of their sex moments in my cabin. Like, I would not be into that. So I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with this whole cocaine bust. And I will definitely bring back the tea from Georgia and Madison. I'm going to talk to both of them. So I will bring you guys that tea as well. Nate, where can everyone follow you in the meantime?
On all social media platforms at @RoyalNate_. You know it.
Awesome. We know it. And I also have an underscore as well. So you can follow me at @AmirYas_ on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I actually posted a TikTok about Parker's infamous breastfeeding moment. And, all the cast is loving it. So thanks, y'all. And we will keep bringing you all of the below deck drama. It's so nice in quarantine to see them out and about on the ocean. It's actually quite comforting. So yeah, take care, Nate, and I will see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.